We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Hey everyone, welcome back to We're Off to See the Wizard, the blog series for Asheville Community Theater's production of The Wizard of Oz. We just finished our second week of rehearsal and we did a lot of great things. This week, we sat down with the director of The Wizard of Oz, Jerry Crouch, to pick his brain about the show and also about his time with ACT. Off to the interview. We are here on the stage at Asheville Community Theater. Right behind us, you could see where the audience sits. And today, I have with me Mr. Jerry Crouch, who is the director of Wizard of Oz here at Asheville Community Theater. So say hello to the We're Off to See the Wizard blog, Jerry.
Off to See the Wizard blog.
So I'm just going to jump right into it. So tell us a bit about you and your connection with Asheville Community Theater.
I came to the Asheville Community Theater in the summer of 1987, and for a number of years, working under the artistic direction of Ralph Redpath, I starred in any number of musicals and some straight shows, but mainly musicals like Cabaret, Camelot, Bye Bye Birdie. After Ralph left in 1998, there were a series of and I had assistant directed with Ralph on any number of musicals, primarily South Pacific, Sound of Music, several of those early musicals, late 80s, early 90s. And then after Ralph left, we went to a system of our guest directors. And starting in 2000, with the summer production of The Music Man, I started directing a lot of our large musicals. Over the years, everything from Music Man to Annie to Fiddler on the Roof, then picking up in 2009 with Peter Pan, 10 was Oliver, 11 was Guys and Dolls, 12 was, then I started doing 2 musicals a year, which was Chicago and Hairspray, and then thereafter, most of the shows I've been doing musicals, among them Sweeney Todd, Cabaret, repeat of Cabaret, me directing, and all up until this current year, of which brings me into this season. I just finished up with Hands on a Hard Body, and then also this guy right here and I worked together in Footloose. Yeah. And this year, other than Wizard of Oz, next summer, 2020, I'll be directing Legally Blonde, the musical.
So what got you interested in directing?
Well, I have, it could be argued, all my adult life I have been performing in shows, in theater, community theater, primarily community theater, dinner theater once or twice. And to me it just seems an obvious, I'm very graphically, visually tuned in because I started out as a fashion illustrator when I was in college, part-time, and then took over as an ad director. So I see pictures are already in, the video is already in my mind. So to me, the next step from working as an actor was seeing all the different pieces of the puzzle. And for me, before I ever start, I probably have put in 150 to 200 hours in prep before we ever start the actual rehearsals. So for me, I already have that picture in my head of how the show needs to go. Very often I'll start with the end and back it up, but certainly the high points. One of the things I'm known for here at Asheville Community Theater, certainly with my actors and my technical staff, is making sure that there is no downtime from one transition scene to the other. I direct cinematically, so one thing moves right into the other.
Right. So you, your background in that marketing and design really helped you in becoming a director?
Yeah. The other part, I've got an art degree, and then I have a degree in marketing and public relations, worked with a newspaper for a number of years here. And so, yes, all of those pieces to the puzzle led me to directing, not so much to be a megalomaniac, not at all, but one of the things that I love most about directing at the Asheville Community Theater, which has been my home now all these years, is being able to introduce other people to the Asheville Community Theater family, and seeing that passion, whether it's a 5-year-old, is the youngest munchkin that we have, all the way up to someone that is probably not quite as old as me, that is on stage in some of the adult roles, and bringing people and keeping people interested. I like to think of a memory book that they can turn the pages back and say, now, wow, when we did that show in whatever year it might happen to be, let's say it's this year, in October of 2019, wow, that was a milestone in my life.
Right. Absolutely. So what have been some of your favorite shows to direct?
Certainly Hairspray is one of my favorite. That was in the fall of 2012. Chicago earlier had never been my favorite as far as the script, but we had a killer cast. Bad pun there, killer cast. And my marketing, Jill still wears the T-shirt. Chicago, Asheville Community Theater. To miss it would be murder.
Yeah, I've seen that show. It's a great show.
Love putting all that together. Certainly Sweeney Todd was one of the challenges. Sondheim always is, but we did a great job. I'd have to say Young Frankenstein that we did several years ago. And other than a musical, I had the great honor to direct A Streetcar Named Desire here, and got to work with Jack Lindsay. That was one of his last sets that he designed, and working with him. And he had worked and apprenticed with the original designer in New York with Streetcar in 1948. So that was a great joy to do that together.
Yeah, Jack's so great.
He is wonderful.
So great. What is your favorite part about directing?
Inspiring people to discover their talents when they think they can't do it on stage, and sharing ACT and the myriad talents that we have. We're not a regular community theater. We're doing, I'm under no illusions that we are doing Broadway style shows, although certainly we get that feedback, and that's all, that's all well and good. But we are doing some major work here with sets, costumes, and the way that we put on. And one of my proudest moments was probably Producers, not my favorite musical, but doing it here and bringing all the pieces to the new theater, renovated, and seeing the excitement that all that put together.
Was that the first show back after the renovation?
That was August of 2017.
We interrupt this interview with Jerry to take you to him in action during Munchkin rehearsals earlier this week.
So when you run on, I want you to run on over here and go push, 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 and she's going to push you back, and then you go. So you try to break your line, and then you come. So it's called a bit. So what do you do? Okay, I can't see you, because that's the worst thing you can do, is look like you're ready to come on. Because then you're not looking like an actor, you're looking like Carter or Henry or Leah, and I'm getting ready to come on. That breaks the illusion of the pretend theater.
Now back to the interview with Jerry Crouch.
So talk a little bit about The Wizard of Oz in general. How did the theater pick the show? Why did you want to direct it?
It was originally, we did it, 12, 13 years ago, but Tanglewood, which is our youth theater arm of our theater, that certainly we have our summer Tanglewood program, and then we have, of course, youth theater of all kinds throughout the year. Thanks to Chanda Callentine, our program director and our education director, and all the great work that she does and all the adjunct parts that we put together. That being said, this is an anniversary year for Tanglewood, as much as several years ago I directed Peter Pan, another favorite of mine. I had also played Peter Pan many years ago in my hometown of Columbia, South Carolina. So those two anchored shows were neat. I actually didn't even suggest we do Wizard of Oz, but it became an obvious choice. And then because I've done them, and I do big musicals well, I can organize very well and see the big picture. And so we decided to do it for an anniversary year production. And it brings all the best of our technical direction, our costumes, everything that we put together, our wonderful musical talents that we have. And it was an obvious choice for us the fall
Was there any talks about the fact that it's the 80th anniversary of the movie?
Well,
Or did that
not
just
not
happen?
as much. Not as much. It just happened.
Okay.
Interesting fact is the movie premiered on the date of our first rehearsal several months,
And-
weeks ago.
And since we've started rehearsals, it was also the birthday of a lot of the original
Absolutely.
actors.
Burt Lair,
Burt
the
Lair.
Cowardly Lion, if you're
Right.
familiar with that part.
Also, I'm pretty sure the Wicked Witch.
Wicked Witch,
And
Margaret
I think
Hamilton,
there was
and
one more
I
somewhere.
think Jack Haley,
Yeah. So,
the original Tin Man.
what is the best advice you've gotten about the biz, whether it was when you were an actor or since you've been directing?
I would have to say, and I have to go back to my high school drama teacher, who was the one that said, "You, Jerry, you like to talk and cut up so much in history class. We need to put you in theater." And I would have to say her a nod to Connie Britt, who will never see this, but she may see it. We are Facebook friends. But the fact that the advice that I would give is, I did The Sound of Music in high school. I had never sung, I'd never acted. And they said, you can do this. And it's that simple. You can do it. All you've got to do is put your mind to it. Obviously, some people may have a tin ear and can't do musicals, but to inspire the young actors to say, you can do it and you can come alive. Some of my best times in my youth, which is long past now, was being on stage and feeling most alive.
Right.
So just telling them you can do it.
Right. Absolutely. So, in 3 words, describe The Wizard of Oz, whether it's the movie or the version that we're putting on right now.
Iconic fairy tale.
Very good. All right. So, the last thing I need you to do is I need you to look at the camera, and I need you to tell them where they can get the tickets and when the show is happening.
The show is happening, opening October 4th and runs weekends. First 2 weekends are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the final 2 weekends are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are evening performances at 7:30. And on Sunday, our matinees are at 2:30. You can call our box office at 828-254-1320. Or you can go to our website, which is www.ashevilletheater. That's TRE.org.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jerry. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining
brother.
us. Absolutely.
Thank you for watching this week's video, and thank you, Jerry, for sitting down with me. Come back next week as we introduce you to the 4 friends of Oz: Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. As always, if you have any questions for me or anybody in the show, please feel free to comment on the blog, comment on the YouTube video, comment on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram and Twitter, shoot me your questions to the one John O, #AskTheWizard. Until next time.
We're out to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.